All right, here it is, Pima Air and Space Museum. This is a Douglas A4C. They use these on the aircraft carriers. Wow, look at the size of the flaps on this thing. A couple big, huge fuel tanks. And this is a part of a solid rocket booster from the space shuttle. It had two of these. The thing is massive. So when the Columbia blew up, see the rings around there, the dark rings? It was one of those, the seal failed. Yeah, so they had one on each side, and then it had a fuel tank in the middle. Cool. So it's 150 feet long. It weighs 1.3 million pounds. 3 million pounds of thrust from this thing. And they had two of them, so that's 6 million, plus all the engines on the space shuttle. Backpacks are not forbidden. Here it is, boys and girls. The Wright brothers. The first airplane ever to fly. Amazing. The Wright brothers engine. So many planes. Helicopters. There's a Blue Angels F-18. Nope, that's a Grumman. I thought they had an F-18 Blue Angels in here. This looks like a Huey. This thing is huge. Is it a Huey? No, it's a Lynx. I'm not too familiar with helicopters. This one, he's got a canard. That's a canard. And a pusher. The engine's in the back. I like it. Very vegan. Oh, it's a Rutan, of course. Burt Rutan. He flew non-stop around the world without refueling. Him and, what was her name? Jaeger. Something Jaeger. F4 Phantom. Thunderbird. United States Air Force Thunderbird. They came to Abbotsford Air Show in Vancouver. 1986. Best year for an air show ever. Nice, eh? That there is the F-86 Sabre. Love that airplane. There was a movie with Lee Majors flying this thing. It was so cool. I think it was the 1980s. It was when Super Channel first came out. This here, it's Tomcat F-14, Tom Cruise. Pretty sweet, eh, guys? There she is. Whoa, look at that. Man, that's so wicked. Let's go underneath it. So this plane, underneath here, it's so wide it actually generates lift. Huge landing gear. Look how thick that is. This was a very heavy plane. There's my hand there. That thing's massive. The wheels got to be 3 feet high. The wing is tucked in right now. Swing wing. So that when they were taking off, the wing would be fully swept forward, so it would be unswept. Gives it more lift. Oh yeah, see here now you can get a good view of how wide this is. It generated quite a bit of lift. The engines are massive. Wow. Amazing. Tom flying. And to my left is the SR-71 Blackbird with its drone there. And here's another A-10. Well, here's a A-10 that's incomplete. This is a Cobra. Huge blade, man. That thing must have generated so much lift. Never seen a blade that wide before. This is an Apache. Apache Cobra, yes. Oh, he's got all the same Oh, this is the pilot sat there, okay. And this is the guy shooting, I think. No, this must be the pilot. Anybody know? Looks like they can both fly. That is one cool looking airplane, I'll tell you. Up close. Check out this plane. Wow. Just beautiful. Look at that engine. So this cone moves in and out, keeps the shock wave in a certain position. Because when they're going Mach 3, if they didn't have that cone there, this would never fly as fast. Apparently that spike in the front there generated quite a bit of the power for this plane. Humongous engines. There's one sitting there. I believe it's the J35. Does that seem right? Let's see. J58, yeah, sorry. J58. Big engine. It's got to be 12 feet long. Let's see. What does it say? It doesn't say. And these wheels are pretty worn out. That's the main gear. Go inside this fire truck. Nice. I definitely could drive this. Wow, I've never seen a brake like that. That's kind of cool. So guys, this is really awesome. We've walked through most of the inside. The hangars here, the first couple of hangars. And now, actually this is hangar 1. So now we're going to head outside and go check out some of the planes that are on static display out there. This looks like a counter-rotating helicopter. So it doesn't have a tail rotor. These spin opposite directions. Then they don't need the tail rotor. What does it say? Gyrodyne. Neat. Oh, it was a drone. This, guys, was a drone. 1960. Remote controlled. And I guess they dropped these little torpedoes in the water. Yeah, here it is. Incredible. So that was what, 60? So that's 40, 65 years ago. The US is using drones. And here we are thinking they're new technology. This is how they controlled the drone, right there. All right, guys, let's head outside now. Got a restaurant here. It's not open yet. Actually, it's open, just nobody's in there. Okay, where do we start? Let's start on the left, right here. That is my favorite airplane. F-15 Eagle, F-4 Phantom, maybe F-100s, I don't know, I can't remember. I think I'm gonna go on that tour at 11 o'clock. Man. It has a tail hook too. I guess just in case he's got no brakes. I don't think they landed on aircraft carriers with these things. So many planes here. Okay, so, F-105. Okay. And that one is the F-100. So these ones, okay, the F-Convair, F-106, A-70 Corsair Strike Fighter. Do you notice anything weird about this plane? Yes, the intake is right in the middle here. That's very unusual. Most of them are on the side, like that, like that, like that, like that. This one wasn't. This one, I believe, was for an aircraft carrier. Huge, huge planes. They were all huge. Look at the size of this thing. It's got to be 45 feet long. Big nose on it. And the cockpit canopy looks like the SR-71 Blackbird. That's pretty wicked. Okay, here's a couple more favorites of mine. The F-104 Starfighter. And this one here. Look at that. Isn't that sweet looking? Wow. Okay, back to the F-104. It had one gigantic engine in it. Tiny, tiny little wing. Look at that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is that? Anybody know? So the F-104, look at the wing. It's like paper thin. Look at that. This is the fuel tank on the end of the wingtip. Like he's got it. But look at this. Isn't that incredible? So they called this the Widowmaker because they were quite difficult to land. They had to come in at very high speed because of the size of the wing. And so if they went too slow, that was it. It just pancaked in. The Widowmaker. That thing needs a bath. What is this one called? I love this plane. I don't remember what it's called. F5. That's it. Northrop F5. Okay. This is a training aircraft. This is an F-89 Scorpion. 1949 to 1969. Very old. Look at the size of this wheel. It's almost like from a John Deere tractor or something. It's so tall. It's got to be 4 feet tall. That's awesome. And I recognize this one here. They have this one at the air show still. There's the F-101. What is this one called? Let's have a look. That's another Voodoo right there. And this little beauty is the P-80 shooting star. P-80 shooting star. Look at the guns in the front here. I guess he had different size guns. Possibly. There's an F-884. So this F-80. And then this one must be the next generation. The F-84. Thunderjet. And then over here we got another 84. So that's the C and that's the F. Another variant. Oh, look what we got over here. A couple of F-16s. Fighting Falcon. Apparently the pilot started calling these planes the Viper from the Star Wars movie, the Viper. Oh, that's sweet. Nice, eh, guys? Let's do a little walk around of this guy. I can see an F-86 parked right behind here. Another shooting star over there. Oh, look at these little air brakes he's got on there. Neat. So those things right there and down there, they open up to slow the plane down. Nice. F-86 Sabre. Lee Majors, guys. $1 Million Man flew one of those in the movie. So this plane here has the side stick controller. So instead of being in between his legs, the control stick for the ailerons and the rudder, or not the rudder, for the ailerons and the elevator in the back, it was a side stick on the side, like. And also the seat, it was reclined 30 degrees so that he could pull higher G-forces. It was really a neat airplane. What do we have here? These look like a couple of German airplanes. This one here, what were the German planes called? Oh, Daryl. Oh, that's an F-111. It's got a swing wing. Okay, this is the Panavia Tornado. There you go. Tornado. Is Harrier row. Look how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Harriers. This is the AV-8 Harrier. A ground attack. It's got a refueling probe right there. There. Another Harrier over here. This one looks like one of the earlier ones. What does it say? This is the British one. Hawkeye Siddeley. And this one here is another British one. This is another Hawker Siddeley Harrier, GR3 ground attack. And there's another one, and another one. I've seen one of the, during the greatest air show ever on the planet, which was the Abbotsford International Air Show. We had a Harrier like this one here fly. It was incredibly loud, and he couldn't hover over the tarmac because he would just melt it. So he had to go over the concrete runway, and he hovered for us. It was wicked, beautiful. So this is the Harrier, the AV-8C, one with the refueling probe. And you can see the canopy is kind of the same height as where the engine is, which really blocks his visibility if he wants to look behind him or even, you know, to the side. Whereas this one here, which is the TAV-8 Harrier, the canopy seems to be raised up. It's definitely got a better visibility from this one. Also, I noticed this one, you can see it's got the 2 nozzles that rotate down for vertical takeoff and landing. And this one here, I only see 1. So there's the intake, there's the nozzle, and then that one doesn't rotate. It just... And also, you can see how they can control the yaw out here. Amazing. I don't know if this thing would slide forward and back quickly, or when they step on it. It's got to have a diverter here so that when he... Wow, look at the tail. It's very square on this one. All the different variations of the Harriers. Awesome plane, man. Must have been hard to fly though. There's the landing gear on the wingtip here. Danger, power control, and jet blast. This wing, look how much it's drooped down. That's awesome. And we also had one of these guys, which is the F-101 Voodoo. This plane here, man, was it ever loud. This is when I first started going to the air shows. This guy was flying. And man, they were so cool. Back then when they had the air show, they flew really low right over top of the crowd. And I remember seeing this plane, he flipped on its side, and I could see the pilot looking right at me as he went by. It was really cool. Super loud airplane. Look at the size of this thing, man. It's massive. Just massive. 2 engines. A couple of fuel tanks there. The tail is really huge. These engines. I love it. The golden age of aviation right here. Look at that. Wow. It says Aero Service. Oh, look at that one. TWA. Nice. So this is a 4-engine propeller plane. Probably could fly across the ocean from New York to London, possibly. Vickers Viscount turboprop. Wow, they flew this till 2009. Would you want to cross the Pacific Ocean in this thing? Or the Atlantic Ocean? I don't know. This one is pretty nice. Look at the wing on this thing, it's awesome. Sits very low to the ground. Any guesses on what it is? I have no clue. So this is a Caravel, 1961 to 2004. So I picture a smaller country owning something like this. They don't have the money for 737. So they buy one of these and they do their local flights. Look at this thing. Starship 2000. This is a Beechcraft. The propeller has 5 blades, 2 engines, pusher with a canard. Beechcraft Model 2000 Starship, 1989 to present. We'll go look at the TWA and then we will head towards the tour. We go on the tour. Here's a Cessna 120. Tiny little plane. Tail dragger, they call that. Because it has the wheel in the back, 2 in the front. The other ones, the more modern ones, have a tricycle gear setup like this one. Nose wheel, main gear. Star of Switzerland, TWA, 4-engine. That right there is the 787 Dreamliner. We went to Thailand in one of those. I believe that one there was the prototype they used for flight testing and stuff. Okay guys, so we've covered, I'd say, half of the planes that are on static display outside. We've done all the fighter planes down that direction, or most of them. Then we've done some of the weird experimental ones, or miscellaneous ones, not experimental, the miscellaneous ones out behind me. And then we have, here, I'll turn the camera around. We've got the cargo planes and heavy lifter planes along here. Some presidential ones. There's really a surprise one just peeking up over there. I'm going to show you guys. And then we've got some really early airliners over here. And then we got some of the big giant bomber planes over there. And I know that on the other side, down that direction, we've got some Russian, whole bunch of MiG planes. So we'll be checking all of those out. Guess we'll see them when we do the tour. So let's go and get our ticket before they sell out. And we're off.
We'll begin today's tour with a museum's Navy and Marine airplane collection. Now, many of these are going to be carrier-based planes that perform the same jobs, land-based combat planes, fighters, and bombers. But they do also have to incorporate strengthened structures to withstand the forces being catapulted throughout the carrier decks and yanked to stop when landing on the ships.
6. RA5 Vigilante. F6, Douglas F6.
The 2-seat trainer version of Great Britain's first jet fighter. The Gloucester Meteors on the right-hand side. Planes in the blue and the brown color scheme. Now, Meteors are the only Allied jet see combat during World War II. This is a trainer version, introduced a little bit after World War II, in 1948. Over 700 of them ended up being made for Great Britain. They used these to test out ejection seats. Also, this was restored with a night fighter nose because when we got the plane, the nose was gone, missing. And so, we put a night fighter nose on the plane. It gives a pretty unique look.
Wow, look at that one. The engines are stacked. Right there.
On the right-hand side, I'll be passing by some other
Shooting
trainers,
Star.
and I'll say a couple quick facts. Military trainers generally have 2 seats, one for the instructor and one for the student. Prospective pilots are first instructing the basics of science of flight, like how to take off, land, and control a plane in the air.
T.
Most will first be
F-102.
conducted in a smaller propeller-driven aircraft.
Look at this thing.
Once they learn the basics,
Cessna
pilots opt to move up to a
T-37.
more sophisticated, faster, often a jet-powered aircraft.
T-38 Talon.
And as they go on, they learn combat techniques and how to employ their
Snowbird.
weapon systems. The next plane is going to be the light-colored pink one,
Wow.
the Seppacat Jaguar. And this was originally intended as a two-seat supersonic jet trainer. Largest bomber to have ever made for the United States is the B-36, and we see this gigantic plane here over in the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, we're going to see our collection of VIP transports. And these were used to provide personal transportation to high-ranking military officers and government officials. First one the road take a look at here is going to be the triple-tailed Lockheed VC-121 Constellation. This plane here was used by General Dwight Eisenhower, who was commander of Allied forces in Europe after World War II. They also named it Columbine after State Flower, Colorado, and the flower is still towards the nose of the plane today. Force One, meaning both of them have been used to carry United States presidents throughout the years. First one the road take a look at is the military adaptation, the Boeing 707 airliner. Air Force called it the VC-137B. And this was introduced to the presidential aircraft fleet in 1959. Second of 5 VC-137s to have served the executive branch. Now, during most of this one's life, it was used to carry large groups of VIPs, but it did carry President Kennedy on occasion.
707, 4-engine.
This will take us to the next Air Force One, and this is the Douglas VC-118A Liftmaster. Planes based on the Douglas DC-6 airliner. This one personally carried both Presidents Kennedy and Johnson. Well, both men, Kennedy and Johnson, did prefer to fly on the larger, faster, jet-powered VC-137s, like the last plane we took a look at back there. See two later versions of the F-86 Sabre, United States' first swept-wing fighter jet put into service during the Korean War. That was to compete with the Soviet-designed MiG-15. First from the row is the H version with the black and yellow tail markings. This one does feature a larger fuselage and updated weaponry. It's also the last non-radar equipped Sabre to be put into service. Then across from it, the L version with the blue and the white tail markings. This one here was a radar-equipped interceptor version of the Sabre, and it does have a different shape of the nose, which houses the radar equipment. Designed by Hawker Aviation, United Kingdom, and the hair is adopted by the British military and the Marine Corps in the 1970s. Underneath the wings, there will be 4 rotating nozzles that direct the exhaust from the engine downward for vertical flight. And the silver one in the middle row is one of the experimental Kestrel prototypes tested in 1964, which then eventually led to the first production Harriers in 1969. Now, all these aircraft here were all made in England, and they served in the British Royal Navy, Air Force, and the United States Marine Corps. Faster speeds to the forefront of fighter airplane development in the 50s and the 60s. As the military de-emphasized maneuverability of the dogfight era and instead emphasized long-range missiles for air-to-air combat. Now, excellent examples of this design philosophy are going to be the 2 light gray-colored aircraft towards the front right of the tram. We have the F-102 Delta Dagger with the red markings in the tail, and then right next to it, the F-106 Delta Dart with the yellow tail markings. Both of these were designed as high-speed interceptors. Now, the plane's triangular, delta-shaped wings that both these aircraft do have makes it very efficient when it comes to high-speed flight, but it does make the plane less maneuverable than other planes with their wing types. Mission for both of these was to fly out at supersonic speeds to intercept any bombers before they reach the coast of the United States. The first plane we'll take a look at today in this collection here is on our left-hand side. It's the Douglas C-54 Skymaster. Planes based on the DC-4 airliner. These are the C-130 Hercules. And they're one of the most popular cargo planes that ever made. They've been around since the 1950s, mostly for military and civilian use, and they're still being made. It was specifically modified to deliver supplies to the research centers in the North and South Pole by using the large sleds. Military is not the only organization that needs to move large objects. NASA needs large cargo planes. On the right, it's not a blimp, it's the Super Guppy. And the Super Guppy was made by NASA in the early 1960s. These are used to carry sections of rockets, Apollo space capsules, moon landers, sometimes other planes as well. Last cargo that did carry this one was the Hubble Space Telescope. And the Guppy was used by NASA, that was until 1991. And they retired them in favor of new, y'all guessed it, new Guppies. So they retired some of the old ones, they made some new ones, and yeah, this one is the first and the original. First and the original ones have been made. This is the C-97 Stratofreighter by Boeing. And the Boeing C-97 was originally developed after a request by U.S. Army Air Forces for a transport aircraft. So on the left-hand side, we do have one of our aerial refueling aircraft here at our museum. It's the KB-50 Super Fortress, and it's the polished silver one here in the corner on the left-hand side, one of our main aerial refueling aircraft here at the museum. So coming up on the right, we see a plane developed for Great Britain to carry radar antennas. We also use the unique because of the use of contra-rotating propellers. That's where two propellers align with each other, they turn in opposite directions. Makes propellers more efficient, provides more power compared to just having the one single propeller. We're going to take a look at a collection of long-range bombers. Now that being said, the first of the post-war bombers to enter service with the U.S. Air Force is this gigantic plane we see here on the left-hand side, the B-36 Peacemaker. And it is the largest bomber to have ever made. Strategic bomber used by the United States. This one did go into service in 1949. By the time, it was becoming obsolete already, and its replacement flew 3 years later in 1952. Later version of the plane that was introduced in 1959, and it served until 1994. This one did also serve in the 1991 Gulf War with Iraq, where at the time it participated in the longest combat mission to have been flown in history. On the first night of the Gulf War in January 1991, the aircraft here and a couple others flew from Barksdale Air Force Base, that's in Louisiana, non-stop to Iraq and back. And all the plane here was refueled 4 times in the air, flew for a total of 35 hours before landing. On the right, we're going to see our collection of Soviet-designed jet fighters. Earliest in the first one in the row is a MiG-15 trainer from the 50s. And all of these are made for the Soviet Union to use. MiG-15. Many examples in this collection are made in other countries like Poland and China. Kind of interesting to see where they're made. Got 2 MiG-17s, got MiG-21. The latest one, the last one's going to be a MiG-29 Interceptor, introduced in the 80s. Still being used today, the MiG-29.
MiG-21. And a MiG-29. Wow, that's awesome. I think we saw something like this at the Abbotsford Air Show.
And we're coming to most of our collection of helicopters now. Initially developed in 1930. In the 1960s, the Army was looking for heavy lift helicopters. They will carry large cargo, whether it be artillery, vehicles, anything else that can carry that's pretty big in size. As this being retired in the military in the 90s, the Sky Crane has found recent newer use in fighting forest fires and logging and construction industries. So yeah, they're still at it. I know in Arizona we do get sometimes fires here, and I've seen them fighting the fires and all that. So they're still doing it, still doing their job.
X-15. Here it is. Six, seven. They used this plane for testing the space shuttle. Prove that you could bring it, go out into space, bring it back, and land safely. Wow. Space shuttle. Cool. So get the throttle. Feel the detent right there. That's afterburner. That would be landing lights. Gear. We got airspeed, attitude indicator, backup attitude. Heading situation indicator. This looks like a G meter. Vertical speed, altimeter, engine instruments, jet nozzle, fuel, oil pressure. ILS. This would be the transponder, radios, TACAN, more radios. Control stick is missing. Should be right there. Fuel controls. They guarded them so that you didn't shut them off when you're flying. Anti-ice. Cabin pressure, cabin temperature. Wow, I could make it 100 degrees. What else we got? Ejection handles. Pretty cool. This is just paper. Okay guys, let's go check out some more of these big old airplanes. Vought F8 Crusader. Another one of these ones with the engine air intake underneath. A couple of guns on that side. A couple more here. Wow, how the hell did those guns not hit the intake here? Weird. Shoot, it's on an airplane, eh? Here's the MiG 29. These things are incredibly maneuverable. Nice. I think this is one of the nicer Russian planes made. I think it was this one or a Sukhoi 27, Su-27. It was at the Abbotsford Air Show. You could go straight up and then put the engines at an idle and fall down like that and then recover. I'd never seen a jet do that before, ever. And it was the Russian one that did it first. Okay, let's go see this cool airplane. That one straight ahead, the silver one, is a B-58 Hustler. That's from the 1950s, I believe. Corvair B-58 Hustler. 4 engines. It would fly at very low altitude, hug the ground. Look at that, isn't that wicked? Ooh, this probe, it sticks way out. Wow. That's the pitot tube to measure the airspeed. This thing is pretty cool, man. Massive fuel tank on it. I would imagine with these 4 jets, and these are old technology jets, so they would have sucked that fuel. Wow, this thing is huge. Never seen this one fly. Seen a video of it flying at low altitude over the Mojave Desert, heading towards LA. Wow. So it's got 8 jet engines on it. 8 of them. Incredible. Different landing gear configuration than most planes. It has wheels on the end of the wings there to stabilize it. I would imagine when it's full of fuel, these wings probably droop down and touch the ground here. Yes. Interesting. This thing must have been a real bitch to land. Okay guys, we're gonna go look at a couple more planes here. I want to see the 787 and the Guppy, the NASA Guppy plane. And then we'll head into the gift shop and call it a day. I've been here for almost 3.5 hours now. There's just so much to see here. There's a couple hangars I haven't gone into yet. I think I'm getting kind of tired, so I don't think I'll be going there. Anyways, let's carry on. Let's see a few more things here. The desert must be hard on it, but at the same time, good on it, because if it had water here all the time, it's gonna destroy the plane. Look how much they have to tie it down so it doesn't lift off. They got some pretty high winds out here. Humongous wheels. Those are easy 4 feet. 2 of them there, 2, 4, there, 8, 10 wheels. It's got 6 propellers and 2 jet engines on each wingtip. The thing is just massive. There's the rear view of this plane. Amazing. I've never seen this fly, but I've seen videos of it flying. Oh, look at this, it's got tail guns. Wow. Got boards there to stop the elevator from drooping. Okay, let's go look at the Guppy, that one over there, and then the 787, and that'll be the last one. Where is it? 787. That'll be our last plane for today. So over here, that big bulbous looking thing is the Guppy. They use that to carry rocket ships, space shuttle parts. NASA owns that one. Isn't that cool? You would think it wouldn't fly. A radio antenna on the roof up there. On the top of the airplane. Man, oh man. So they've covered the windows in some special stuff. They seal the whole plane up because the dust will get in everywhere and just destroy it. Oh, whoa, this is the B-52 carrying the X-15. Awesome. Wow, I didn't even notice that till just now. Oh, that is so unbelievable. So guys, this is the X-15 rocket plane. They launched it from this big B-52. And you would take off, fly up to over 100,000 feet. Very cool, look at that. Here's the gear on the B-52. It's got to be 5 feet tall. Massive wheels. Got 4 of them, plus the one over there. Look at this airplane, man, oh man, I can't believe it. Funny how the tail is so square. I wonder why they did that. The wing is very thin, but squared off. That looks like a camera, I would imagine. This thing was super fast. Okay, I didn't even know this section existed here. All the years I've come here. This is, I think, my 4th time. Look how tall that is. Wow. Let's keep going. Everybody, oh, okay, let's go over here. There's a 747 over here that was NASA's, and it was their telescope. They could open the side door there in the back, and it had a telescope in it. There it is, Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy. The NASA 747NA. So right there, that door would swing open this way. And that's where the telescope was. There was like a big laboratory inside there. Oh, huge. Four bogies. Cool, eh? An interesting thing about the 747, the wheels, is if the plane's coming in, if there's a crosswind, so the plane's coming in, say, sideways to the runway like that, the wheels, when it hits the ground, will turn. The wheels will turn into the direction the plane's flying. So when he touches down, you don't break anything or have a sideways load. And over here, what do we got over here? It's a flying eye hospital. That looks like a L1011, possibly. Okay, this is a DC-10. So there's 3 planes, or 2 planes that had the 3 engines. The one in the back, that one, and that one. The L1011, the Lockheed L1011, and the McDonnell Douglas DC-10. My favorite plane right there, 747. That's the propulsion test platform. Okay, any guesses? What is it, guys? Somebody tell me. 777, oh, of course. Oh, I love this plane. Boeing 777. Humongous, eh? I've seen them with an extra engine bolted on the wing. Cool. So this row here looks like they're all firefighting airplanes. Water bombers. All the way down. I noticed on this one he's got the big square compartment there. I guess he can suck up water and then go dump it on the fire. What am I doing? Sorry. There we go. Conair Aviation in Abbotsford, British Columbia has a whole bunch of water bombers. In fact, in BC we have the biggest water bomber in the world. We used to have it. It's called the Mars bomber. I think they sent to the Philippines. I think they've got it now. It's just massive. Kind of like the Spruce Goose, big giant airplane.
So you moved to Arizona? Well, from Grand Rapids. Yes. Oh, wow.
There's the Rolls-Royce engine in this fabulous Spitfire. The size of the propeller is massive. B-29, guys. So shiny. B-29 Super Fortress. Massive tail draggers. Bungay Buckaroo B-24.
Oh, she's co-piloting. I love it.
Got one more airplane to look at, and that's the 787 Dreamliner, which is a Boeing plane. They still make it today. And it's a very, very fuel efficient 2-engine jet We flew to Thailand with it. It was 16.5-hour flight, and this thing can go probably 18.5 hours. Just mind-boggling. And the engines are just incredibly powerful and quiet. Give you an idea of the size with those people standing there. Prototype. Here's the nose gear, equally beefy. There's the landing lights. All right, didn't realize I had my microphone in my pocket. Anyways, I was saying that this plane here can fly on 2 engines across the ocean, no problem. There was a time where you had to have 4 engines in order to fly across the ocean, just for redundancy. And so the 747, you know, huge, beautiful airplane, 4 engines. It was replaced by planes similar to this, the Airbus. Airbus A340 has 4 engines. Airbus A320, nope, Airbus A330. It's similar to this one, 2 engines. And so yeah, this one here, it's called ETOPS. It can fly very, very long distances on just if one engine were to quit. It can easily fly to an alternate airport and land safely with just 1 engine. Super powerful. And I don't know if you guys, if I had the microphone on, but let's just redo this here. So this engine is called a high bypass ratio engine. And so the jet's in the back there, and you can see this giant fan here, this giant fan, it just goes straight out the back. Jet engine spins this, and this is actually where the majority of the thrust is created, is from this high bypass fan. And so then the air comes out the back over here. See? Straight through there. All the hot gases comes out of here. The jet engine's inside here. There's a long shaft, goes to the front, spins that fan blade in the front, and creates a gigantic amount of thrust. Okay guys, we're gonna end this video now at the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. And if you want to comment in the bottom, that would be awesome. I do really appreciate you guys watching these videos. Take care. Look at that hairdo. In fact,